Hi guys. Setup is a little bit different today because I am at the old house and everything is shaky. But we do what we do. Anyways, I hope everybody is well. Happy Sunday. Court Watchers Anonymous meeting is being called to order. I hope that everybody has had a good weekend. Tell me what you had for dinner or what you're planning on having for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. Also, um, I'm not cooking. I mean, I'm gonna drink some coffee. Um, but this room has the best lighting to shoot in, so that's why I'm in here. I was hanging out with the cat who's been alone for a little while, so I felt like I would hang out with the cat for a bit because Nana is away. Um, so we have the ongoing saga that we've been watching. Uh, Hi, Stephanie. Or my story's not over. Dunkin' Donuts. You're an addict. You're powerless over your addiction. I mean, honestly, I'm an addict to Tim Hortons coffee. Absolutely, 100%. I am. This is cold. Still looking very much forward to drinking it. Um, Cooking French toast, bake, and bacon for dinner. Okay, French toast bake, is that like you bake it ahead of the time? Or like you bake it all at once as opposed to in the pan? Um, Christy Davidson is her sister's making barbecue sandwiches with roast meat. Okay, that sounds yummy. Um, I'm having cold coffee at the moment, and I'm looking forward to it. It's a double double. I've had a regression in my coffee drinking. I was at just one cream, one sugar for a while, but I am now back up to the double double. Only I think because it's so much easier to order. Regardless, I shouldn't be so lazy. Um, Oh, I'm throwing things around. I have a few things to talk about before we get started. I wrote them down. That's how organized I am. Look at my glasses, my fake glasses. I can't even fucking wear them. Thanks. This is my the family kitchen, I guess you would call this, Mikey. I'm here for a little while, hanging out with the cat. And it has the best lighting of all the rooms. So uh guys, look what I found at the dollar store. You see them? They're freeze-dried strawberries. You think the glasses look good on me? Yeah, the least amount of cleavage because I was working out and working, Lisa. So my cleavage is like second on the list. Anyways, oh, it's so shaky. If you like, oh, Lisa, if you like freeze-dried fruit, it's usually very expensive, and these, like, if you were to buy this at the store, it would be very, very expensive, like at a regular store. But hi, Chris Angleby. Um, but I found these, and these were only $1.25. I already opened one and ate most of the strawberries in it. Here's the funniest part about what I think I read on the back. You guys know I love reading packaging. Okay, so in Canada, of course, it's in French and English, but so I won't bother you with the French, but I will say it says here at the top, a delicious way to snack, which I like. Then it says at least 9 strawberries per bag, which I think is a really interesting sort of um, way that they've put that there. And then it goes on to explain what are freeze-dried fruits. Also, I happened to notice none of these were sliced when I ate them, which it was fine. I was just like, wow, it's probably harder to like freeze dry a whole strawberry. I would have assumed that you would slice them up, but most of them were solid, like fully just little strawberries like that. But here's the thing, so weird. Anyways, on the back here, I don't know if they're lying or not, but it says freshly selected strawberries are washed and sliced into perfect snack sized pieces, which then undergo the freeze dry process. This process removes nearly all the water in the fruit, but preserves 95% of the fruit's nutritional value. The air and moisture proof package guarantees a fresh, crispy, and nutritious snack to enjoy on the go, on the trails, at school, or add it into any breakfast cereal or yogurt. Consume after opening. Well, thanks, Tips. I appreciate that. And they're good till 2025, August of 2025. But it does say here, may occasionally contain seeds, small peels, or core residue due to the automatic process. Differences in shape may occur. We can assure you that this is not a quality problem. Enjoy. Ah, I think that's so funny. Anyways, okay, they are good. I'll tell you that. And super cheap. For $1, you can't even buy fucking 9 strawberries for $1. Never mind freeze dried ones. Find me a place you can do that. Nowhere. Hi, Courtney. Oh my God, they're very tart though. I love them. Oh, but they're tart. Okay. Oh, we are going to watch You're Lurking, You're Naked and Need to Dry Off. Was it Creed the other day talking about Emily not being able to dry herself off after getting out of the bath or the shower? I have told you guys in this house, which is over 100 years old, you can't do it. But in the house that I live in now, it has a really nicely heated bathroom with heated floors, and I crank the heat up in there and I dry right off, no problem. It's all good. There's never been an issue. But here, where the it's so drafty and the house is really old, you're like wrap yourself in towels as quick as you can, and you're still cold, and you still have drafts coming everywhere. Oh, change the chat thing. Okay. So, oh, hello, Ickadoodle. The cat. Again, I've been hanging out with the cat a little bit. She's been ignored lately. So we are going to watch the rest of this hearing. This, to catch anybody up, this is a hearing in regards to an estate of a family, and it appears that they're arguing about the executrix, which is what they've called her. Um, Melody. Can I try 1.25 speed? Well, no. Lisa, sorry. Not right now. Maybe later. Hi Hayden. But Executrix does sound weird. It sounds like Bellatrix or Dominatrix or yeah. Those are the two things that it sounds like to me. Um I said no so softly. Sorry. And this girl is hi Mike. This girl is fighting her family, I'll say that. Okay, before we get started though, there are 32 of you guys here. Hi Heather. I released a video yesterday. I think it's the first video on this channel officially. I literally believe it falls within all of YouTube's guidelines. So, but we've seen it together, so I'm not too worried about it. But I just wanted to mention that if you want, um, to help me out though. We're almost at 800 subscribers. We were at 799 this morning. I took a picture of it. Then I went back and checked. 798. One of you assholes unsubscribed. So thanks for that. Aw, thank you, Jonathan. I worked quite hard on it. And yeah, just subscribe to the channel. That's all I ask. Okay, so if you've, it wasn't me, Mayor says. Hi, Mayor. Are you going back to work tomorrow? Are you excited about that? If anybody's new here, Mayor's going back to work tomorrow. He's had some time off, so that'll be unusual for him. Um, Especially since he picked up a side job as fan of the year over on Credence and Mikey. Also, Courtney, I'll be an executrixie. Executrixie sounds like one that doesn't wear pants ever, right? That's the vibe that I'm getting. Like I said, I'm drinking a double coffee from Tim Hortons. It's cold. I might heat it up. We'll see. We are going to be watching the continuation of this case, and I hope you enjoy. I've never seen it before, so we're watching it together. I know some of you guys have seen part of this. I freaking, it took your legs off? Christy, that's serious. Chris, thank you so much. What in the heck? That would be terrible, Christy. Chris, thank you so much. I don't know when it's gonna come through. Also, I don't have my regular, like I left the microphone set up at the other place, obviously. So, I have to mute it with my finger on the keyboard every time. So, just keep that in mind. I hope, thank you again, by the way, Chris. I appreciate all your comments. It's snowing, Heather. Oh my gosh. Snowing is crazy. Snow is crazy. You can see outside it's not snowing here. It's just fine. That one strawberry, I can still taste it in my mouth. This is not my kitchen, remember, but this is the kitchen I grew up in. Sort of. It was very different when I was growing up. Wall there, many different things different, but regardless. There it is. Thank you so much. I so appreciate that, Chris. Why is it so it's not showing me the whole thing? Why? I don't know. Okay, let's go watch some oh hi. So she's on the camera. Ika. Ika doodle. Ika. 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 This cat is older than my daughter. I remember having her the Christmas before my daughter was born as a kitten. Ickadoodle, can you not embarrass me, please, and just like listen to me? Thank you. Hey. Yeah. 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 Okay. She's not gonna come. Thanks. How is that over there? I'm gonna move that right over here. Ickadoodle. We slept together. I'm so embarrassed. I hate that she does this. The door is open the tiniest crack. She's not allowed out, and she's just sitting there. I was out on the deck earlier, and so she's just sitting there, just I guess soaking in the fresh air. I don't really know. Ickadoodle. No, she's not coming. Okay, just embarrass me, dude. Fuck. Oh my god.
to respond to it. So that's overruled.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, Ms. Patton, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. I would like to submit the documents to you, but
Okay, you're going to have to upload them in the chat feature so that everyone can see them.
May I request IT help with this?
Whose IT? My IT? I can't hear you.
My husband is an IT expert, and I'd like him to help me upload this.
Oh, already? First of all, I gotta move this because it's blocking one specific button. Secondly, fuck off. Your husband's a dick. I can tell. I haven't even seen him yet. Allegedly, in my opinion, he's a dick. Secondly, have we ever heard that before? Can we make a note of that? What did she say? She said, "Can I request IT help?" I've never I've never seen anybody do that. Here's what I would say. Actually have heard older people talk about it, but like in a different way. Also, here's the other thing that I'm gonna say. The judge is wearing a tank top. Or like I guess I don't know what you would call that, a shoulderless shirt. Like a I've worn those in business settings before too, and I think it's totally fine. But as a judge, I just think it's interesting that she's wearing shoulderless in court. It's also all women on the screen, except for this tech expert who's about to come out from the darkness. I still remember. Did you guys have a store called Jacob? We had this store called Jacob, and it was quite expensive, but it was like, oh, Ika, you licking your paw? Um, it was it was right across at the mall. And, can't I don't know what to like. Anyways, basically everything was gray or black or white, and it was like business clothes in the early 2000s. And I remember I bought a shirt there, and it was a shirt just like that, except it was black completely, and it was stretchy material, and it went like up to my neck. I still have it because one of the best shirts I ever bought, but I'm sure I paid like $50 for it. Ridiculous.
This, and I don't.
Your husband can help you with whatever you need help with there.
Okay. I'm gonna get another question for you while he's helping me with that. 1 second. Okay, my husband is working on that on another computer, so he's doing that. In the meantime, I'd like to ask a few more questions if that's okay.
Okay.
Okay, so hold on 1 second. Okay, are you aware, Melanie, of the account being closed in First Street Financial? Because you had talked to me about that. Are you aware that account is closed and did not have anything in there for you?
No.
How often did you speak with Betty as of January 2023?
Objection, Your Honor, irrelevant.
What's the relevance of this question?
How often did you speak with Betty about financial matters?
Don't repeat it. What's the relevance of it?
The relevance is that she was contesting that I was not doing my due responsibility because she's a beneficiary of the account that I'm referring to. And So that's why I was asking her if she was aware that that bank had no open account of Betty Patton or Boyd Patton.
Okay, that's not what you're asking. You're asking her how many times she talked to Betty.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Yes, Your
No,
Honor.
it's the state.
Okay. All right. So my next question then is, are you aware that I had to cover David's expenses as of February, even after you and I had talked about the utilities being paid? Are you aware that I continued to pay his expenses?
I assume you were paying them out of the estate money because the house is part of the estate. And as the executrix, it's your responsibility to pay the utilities.
Remember the conversation that you and I both had over phone call, that the estate funds had not been released yet, and I was using my personal funds for the family and to support David and Tim.
We never got any documentation from you about anything, and I don't know why the estate funds were not released to you if you're the executrix.
Do you remember that I told you that Fidelity would not release money yet, and I had a delay on the house because David would not move out? Do you remember me telling you that?
Something like that. I'm not really sure.
Are you aware that Fidelity requires David himself or a power of attorney on file in order to get his money released or to even talk to me about it?
Objection, Your Honor. The Fidelity account is not a part of the probate estate. It's not an asset that she needs to administer. I'm not, again, sure why we're going down this road of questioning.
What's the
Line
relevance?
of questioning, excuse me.
The reason is because those were the only estate funds available. I could not get the house sold, and the only estate funds available at that point were what were left in the beneficiary accounts.
Okay, it's overruled. Do you know the answer to the question, Ms. Dake?
I'm sorry, ask the question again.
My question was, are you aware that Fidelity required David himself or a power of attorney of David in order to get his funds released or even to talk about them?
No, because you didn't communicate anything to us. Betty had told Tim that there was money in Fidelity for the 6 of y'all that would not have to wait for probate. And from my understanding of talking to Tim, he then asked you about it, and you finally gave him the information on how to contact Fidelity, who to talk to, and the account numbers and all that. You never gave anything to David or Josh or Nick. And so Tim, out of the goodness of his heart, reached out to me and David and gave us the information. So then, yes, we contacted Fidelity for David to get his share.
Are you aware that I spoke with Josh, who recorded my conversation, about this exact thing that we're talking about? I talked to Josh about it, and he recorded it for you. Are you aware of that?
No.
Do you remember the Zoom chat that you had with my husband and myself about all these things in great detail? We had that in, I think it was June.
I remember a long conversation with y'all, yes. And I asked you for a transcript of it or a recording of it, and you refused.
Is it possible that this Fidelity information was shared during that conversation?
I don't remember. We've never received anything in writing about Fidelity or about anything else.
Okay. Are you aware that I gave Josh documents to take home with him on the trip?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yeah.
did you look at any of those documents?
Yes. Yes, got the official death certificate. I'm sorry. Yes.
So please confirm that you reviewed the documents of the trip, but not the recording.
Say that again.
Confirm that you reviewed the documents Josh brought to you, but did not review his recording of the conversation.
Objection,
What
Your Honor.
recording?
I don't think she testified that Josh brought her anything or anything to do with the recording. So she's misstating the Melanie's testimony.
Sustained.
So Melanie, did you or did you not, were you or were you not a part of a text message conversation where Josh said he would let you have all of the information that I gave him and that we could talk about it?
I don't know about any conversation. I never heard a recording of any conversation that Joshua had with you at all.
Could you explain why you wouldn't listen to the recording that you had requested Josh do for our conversation?
Objection, Your Honor.
What's the objection?
On a state matter.
Relevant. I mean, assuming facts that are not in evidence, she's testifying in her question.
Sustained.
Okay, well, I'd like to submit more evidence then.
Well, you will have a chance to do that, but you need to right now, you can ask the questions to the witness.
Okay, Melanie, do you remember the conversation where I asked you over the phone to come to Braze Heather to Houston and I would pay for your trip and accommodate you so that you could help me get David settled somewhere else and the house sold?
Yes.
So at that time, did you recognize that you needed a power of attorney to do those things with me?
Objection, Your Honor. Irrelevant.
Sustained.
The relevance is that I was waiting on the power of attorney because I couldn't actually legally do anything with Melanie on David's behalf.
It's still sustained.
Are you, Melanie, or do you remember that you refused to come and help me with my request?
Objection, Your Honor. She's testifying with her question. There's no testimony that she refused to help her with any request.
Objection, Your Honor. We have to say thank you to Jim Huntsman. Thank you, Jim. Appreciate that. I know it'll pop up soon. Hey, looking at legal stuff is here too. I only need one more sub to hit 800. I know we are getting close. Thank you for being here. Thank you again, Jim. It'll pop up soon over here. Also, hit the like button, guys. That's super helpful. I appreciate it so much. Oh, Miss Carrie, yeah. Don't I look so smart with my fake glasses on? Apparently, people used to think that I was wearing glasses. Hi, Tiny Piggy. How are you doing? Hope you're well. Oh, so Vicky's got snow. Be careful. There's no snow here, obviously, but you know that looking at legal stuff. Oh, I went to hit the mic. It's not there, Paisley. You have to press this button.
She's assuming facts that are not in evidence.
Sustained.
Did I or did I not offer you a full plane ticket and accommodations for whenever you would need to get this trip done so that we would all be better off?
Objection, relevant.
That is overruled. You can answer that question.
Okay, ask it again.
Did you or did you not decline my offer to pay for you to come here and get the house matters settled and David settled somewhere and the house sold when I asked you to help?
Yes, I didn't need to be there to do that.
Would it not be quicker to get a POA if you were right there with him in the same state and vicinity?
Objection, Your Honor. Relevance calls for speculation. I mean, she's not a lawyer. She's no she's not an expert in that area. I don't know why she should be testifying about how it would be quicker to get a POA or versus how it wouldn't be.
Sustained.
Hello?
The objection was sustained, so you need to get another question. At this
Are you-
time, I'm going to start limiting.
Yay! Yay! This is, thank you so much, Christy. That is so awesome. That's a great reminder that we have members only that will be happening after. We watch more of this today. We have something, we always do a little something different than what we normally do during regular shows, during members only. So, welcome if you're a member. Yay! No way are we over 800. Is that possible? Oh, exciting! I don't know if that's enough of a buffer because some people keep unsubscribing, so we gotta all check and see. Oh, thank you, Christy. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
The time available. So for the cross-examination now, I'm going to give you 15 more minutes. So please pick your questions carefully.
Melanie, are you aware that I am a bookkeeper and accountant, and my husband is too?
Bookkeeper and
Objection.
accountant for what?
For
What's the objection?
Relevance.
Sustained. Next question.
are you aware that we have experience with financial matters, and that you are you aware that we have experience with financial matters?
Objection. Relevance.
Sustained. Next question.
Are you aware that we have experience with financial and never mind, sorry, I'm not saying this question right. Are you aware that we as accountants work with POAs often? Melanie.
Objection. Relevance. Assumes facts that are not in evidence.
Sustained as to both.
So Melanie, are you aware that your
Okay, so yeah, let's keep a track of the husband's job slash expertise. So he's an IT expert. He's a wannabe lawyer, I would guess. I know she's messier than I am. I'm not saying something too, Amanda. I fucking get it. I get it, girl. A wannabe lawyer, I'll put down. I think we should call him a puppeteer because it's quite obvious he's the one behind the scenes here puppeting. But maybe that might be just a bit too mean. Also, hard to spell. Oh, accountant bookkeeper, of course. Accountant bookkeeper. How could I forget? Ika, how could I forget the accountant bookkeeper? How could I forget? Accountant bookkeeper. Oh, and financial expert. That's right. That's right. Oh, he's a POA. Oh, hi, Ika. Expert. And then a POA, right? Power of attorney. I'm pretty sure he's a power of attorney for somebody to do with something. Yeah, I'm sure they're all grifters. Con men. You will, allegedly, in my opinion. Let's.
actions or disactions you did not come to Houston and you would not provide me with a POA. Are you aware that that caused a huge delay in not only process, but also funding?
Objection, argumentative, relevance, assumes facts that are not in evidence.
Overruled, sustained.
So in meeting the court's deadlines, which you stated I hadn't with the inventory and whatever else I missed, I could not, are you aware that I couldn't do that because of Melanie and David's delay in the process in totality?
Objection, Your Honor. I mean, I assume facts not in evidence. There's been no testimony that there's been any actions on Melanie or David's behalf that have prevented her from complying with her statutory responsibilities as the executor.
That's overruled. Ms. Dake, you can answer that one.
Okay, ask it again.
So Melanie, are you aware that your delay in getting me the POA and David's inability to get out of the house provided a significant delay in me meeting the court deadlines?
No, it did not. You meeting the court deadlines was a completely separate thing, had nothing to do with me and David.
And just for the record, so that everybody's on the same page, these are not court-imposed deadlines. These are statutorily mandated deadlines. This is done by the legislature, so this is the law. I didn't dream up these deadlines or mandate anything special about this. I know, Mistake, you don't know that, and that's fine.
Oh my goodness, Tiny Piggy, welcome. Thank you so much for joining. What a case. This is such a clusterfuck. Honestly, such a cluster. What? You thought it was a mistake. You guys. Thank you so much, Tiny Piggy. Look at you gifting for people. It's raining memberships around here. That's a great reminder to turn on gifting on this channel because we have really cool people like that. You have made my day. Thank you so much. Seriously, I appreciate it more than you know. We have a growing group of people to hang out with at members only, and we do it every Sunday afternoon or evening. And I'm so glad that you're going to join us and that you've gifted 5 other people to join us too. You guys are the best. Seriously, the best. Love it. Eka, did you hear that? 5 gifted memberships.
I'm not fussing at you. I just so we're all on the same page. This isn't something that the court has done.
Melanie, are you aware that the delay in getting the POA or getting you here to help and David's complete inability to even talk to me because of his anxiety or his inability to get out of the house, are you aware that all of those things put together made it impossible for me to not only fund the family support, but also get the deadlines done by law, whatever deadlines those are? It made it impossible for me. Are you aware of that?
Objection, Your Honor. Asked and answered.
Do you agree, Melanie, that that delayed it then? Do you agree?
No. You filing the list of assets as of the day Betty died was one of the things you missed. That had nothing to do with anything except you and your responsibilities being done or not done.
Do you agree that David is completely incapable of acting on his own in any of these matters?
Objection,
No.
Your Honor. Relevant.
Sustained.
And so do you agree that he would need a POA or for
Oh, Christy, you're so sweet. You know what's crazy is that it's free to subscribe. Nobody has to gift anything for people to hit subscribe. but I hope it did. But you've made another person happy and a member. I but they don't even need to. It's just the subscribe. Also, if they say POA anymore, I might pull out my hair. It is nuts how obsessed these people are with the power of attorney. It's very odd. Like the judge said at the beginning, it don't make you an attorney. It's not like a substitute for going to law school. So I'm not quite sure.
You yourself to come down in person and help handle these matters in order for all of this to continue?
Objection, relevant.
Sustained.
Do you agree that the timeline then of this estate matter and beneficiary distributions are completely delayed?
Objection, relevance. I mean, calls for speculation.
How many months did it take for you to give me the POA, Melanie?
Sustained. Melanie, I'm sorry, Miss Date, that question is on board. The question about how many months did you give,
Okay.
take for you to give her a POA?
Okay. We got the POA to her in November. It was just a whatever process with Emily Taylor and her team. I don't know who all did what. But
And when did you
and
initially tell me you were giving me the POA?
Please.
Yeah, so let me explain to you that there is a court reporter, stenographer, a lady, she types down everything we're saying. She can't do two people at one time, and this is a court of record.
Hi, RSJ Texas. Welcome. That reminds me of a quick story. Looking at legal stuff. I just saw that. You're so sweet. You see 800. Oh my God. I hope there's a little buffer. Thank you so much. That's going to pop up over here, but I obviously saw it already and yelled. Thank you. Looking at legal stuff. I appreciate you so much. Okay. Here's a funny story about 800 is official. Yeah, but it could go down. Anyways, I am so excited. Thank you so much. Okay, here's a quick story. Hey, Jim! Jeez, you guys. Ah! Jim, thank you so much. I love the pears. I love that. Thank you so much. Okay, wait. What were we just talking about? Somebody remind me what before I was so generously interrupted by looking at legal stuff and Jim Huntsman with their beautiful super chats. We were talking about something else. Um, oh, stenographers. I remember. Stenographers. Okay, so let me write that down in the note. So stenographers. Um, it wasn't Texas. It was the stenographer. It was the judge saying stenographer. So I love to type. I type real fast. I attribute that to my piano lessons as a child. But so I've always wanted to be in, and I like court stuff. So I used to want to be a stenographer. I really thought about it. And I went on a little journey of like trying to decide on what my career would be. And I worked on and I looked into becoming a stenographer. And uh I had a good friend of mine. So thank you, Jim. Oh my gosh, you guys are amazing. Seriously. But anyways, I had a good friend. Mike, you guys. Thank you so much. That's going to pop up in a minute here too. Mike, thank you. Oh my gosh. You said congrats on 800. I believe it is true, and I'm very thankful for all of your guys' support and help. And this story relates a little bit back to that. It's about telling the truth to your friends. And I was very excited about becoming a stenographer. You take the course, you pay like I think it was $20,000, but that got you the course and the machine, the special little machine that lets you type so fast. And I remember being like, I'm going to finance this machine and do this thing. And a good friend of mine was like, you you can't be a court reporter. And I was like, what? Why? Like just taken aback, like, of course I can't. I can be whatever I want to be. And they're like, you can't not talk all day long. And I'm like, what? Thank you, Mike. Seriously, they're like, you can't not talk all day. Court reporters don't get to say anything. They have to be silent basically the entire day, unless it was just like this moment here where they get to go, excuse me, one at a time, one at a time. But other than that, they don't get to talk. And my literal dreams were crushed because I guess I had like envisioned myself as some sort of pseudo lawyer court reporter who would be jumping up and making points and having it all tight. I know. Like I don't know why my brain really could not have comprehended that part of that job. Um but I do appreciate that that friend stopped me before I bought that machine. Lisa, thank you so much. And listen, guys, if you can't afford to give anything or you don't want to, that's fine. I'm just glad you're here. So thank you all for being here. Lisa Figlicious, thank you so much. We're so glad that your move went well, that you are now in Georgia, closer to your grandbabies. And thank you so, so much. Seriously. Uh, but always remember, guys, I appreciate you guys being here a lot. And the emails that I get and messages and comments. So thank you. And have you guys ever had to do that to somebody, like crush their dream? Speaking of crushing dreams, um, have you ever had to do that? Like crush somebody's dreams? Like this person crushed my stenography dreams. But they did it for a good reason. I mean, I don't know at what point I would have gotten to realize, oh, you can't do that. Um, yeah. Thank you guys again. You guys are so awesome. I'm sure she makes good money, Jim, but she doesn't. I like to talk. It's a problem. I'm aware of it. Anyways, let's continue. No, I'm not crying yet. I'm not cry. You guys are too good. Um, I hope I'm not gonna cry. Anyways, let's keep watching this. We still have members only later today, and we still have the rest of this at least. Um, to buy the pizza in a month and a half, Mayor. When YouTube Daddy releases the money, I'll buy some pizza. Okay. Pizza party. Actually, we'll make pizza before then.
So you have to ask a question, get an answer, and then ask another question, or else she can't get what we're saying. What that record is used for is for the Court of Appeals. So if either one of you don't like what happens today and y'all want to take it up on appeal, this record is part of what you can use to do that. So it's good for both of you if it's a clear record and it gets everything that happens.
Yes.
So I don't know if she got that last question. But
No.
You didn't? No. Ask the last question again.
Melanie, when did you initially tell me you were going to get a POA for David?
I don't remember.
If you hated somebody, also welcome to the club, Shadow. I'm glad your mom told you about me. Listen, if you hated somebody, you could literally do a drinking game where you drink every time they say POA, and you could kill somebody, I think. with the amount of times that they've said that in this hearing.
Whenever you did get it for him, was it post the deadline for me to get the will executed?
Objection, relevance, calls for speculation.
That is sustained.
Okay. It had
No,
nothing to do.
That's sustained. So don't answer the question.
Oh.
So, hold on. I'm sorry. So, how long did it take for you to get the POA to me?
We've established that I gave it to you in November.
Would it be possible then for me to handle the matters regarding David without that POA from you?
Objection,
Yeah.
calls for speculation.
Sustained.
So, Melanie, do you agree that because it took you this long to get me the POA, I could not give David the funding? I could not get David his beneficiary money and therefore the funding?
Objection, calls for speculation, and it calls for a legal conclusion.
Sustained.
Are you aware that, Melanie, that I invited David over to my home and talked to him about all of these things, and in response, he urinated in my car?
Objection.
What? Of all the things that I was expecting her to say, that was not one of them. Is this a joke? Is this actually a joke? Ah! Shadow Night Wolf gifting memberships to. Thank you. Oh my gosh. Yay. We might have our base members again. Thank you. Oh my gosh, is there one? No, I can never count them. Thank you so much. That's so awesome. We have to go back. I mean, we just have to go back like 20 seconds and listen to that again, because what in the actual she said it so nonchalantly too. Like she's been waiting. What on earth? Okay. And then I gotta go here and hit the mute button.
Objection, calls for speculation, and it calls for a legal conclusion.
Sustained.
Are you aware that, Melanie, that I invited David over to my home and talked to him about all of these things, and in response, he urinated in my car?
Objection, hearsay, relevant.
Okay, overruled as to hearsay, sustained as to relevance. I think we are way off topic right now.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. Give me just one more moment. How much longer on my time?
7 minutes.
Pretty sure David's one of the uncles.
Okay, Melanie, did you purposefully delay the POA so that I would miss my court and law mandated deadlines for this?
No, and the POA has nothing to do with you fulfilling your duties as the executrix.
May I respond to that?
No, you can ask for questions.
How do you think that does not apply?
Because you giving the court the list of Betty's assets as of the day she died had nothing to do with whether David ever had a POA or not. And we only did the POA because you threatened to call the cops on his outstanding warrant if he did not sign the POA over to you or Matt in 24 hours. And so we said, okay, go ahead, call the cops. He's not signing POA over to you or Matt.
Are you aware that David would not talk to me about even his beneficiary distributions?
No.
Are you aware that he said he had too much anxiety to deal with any of it?
He does have a lot of.
Sustained.
Are you aware, Melanie, that I had
I think we just need to go back for a moment and really appreciate David peeing in her car. Okay? If it was an accident because David has diminished faculties, then that is unfortunate. If even part of it wasn't an accident, but yet he utilized his skills to fucking piss in her car, I just feel like that is a hilarious move. Because how do you get mad? Oh, a little taste of your own medicine. You think I need a POA? You think I can't do anything? Well, watch. I'm just gonna piss in your car. Oh, they're cousins, I think. Hi, Steven. Thank you. Liked and subscribed. I think over 800 now. I'm pretty excited about it. But we're going to be moving towards 1,000 next. Oh yeah, there's Miss Looking at Legal Stuff. Guys, check out Looking at Legal Stuff's channel as well. It's linked right there. She does awesome court stuff. Awesome, 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 awesome possum. This has got to be one of the nuttiest cases we've ever heard. I'm being serious. Like, the judge is just sitting there like, did she just, she did just talk about this guy pissing in her car. Yeah, okay. Did we get a sample of that? Like, is your husband a pee expert as well? Oh, see, now it's 7.98, Vicky. I'm not kidding. People unsubscribe. That's why we need a buffer.
to get a POA for him in order to get him what he was asking for and what you were asking me for?
Objection. Relevance. Assumes facts that are not in evidence. Calls for a legal conclusion.
Overruled. Sustained.
If you were so concerned, Melanie, about the money and about David, why didn't you come down when I offered to fly you down?
Objection. Relevance. Argumentative.
Overruled. You can answer that.
I can answer that.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. What was the question? You asked why I didn't come
Yeah.
to Houston. I don't see.
Last year when I was in Houston, it was 115 degrees. I'm not joking about that. I went to the Matsuri conference in Houston, convention, and it was hot as fuck in Houston, Texas. But the people are so friendly. Oh my goodness. We've talked about that before, but I made lots of new friends in Houston. It was great. I loved it. I love Houston. I love Texas. I mean, I was married in Texas, even though I'm Canadian, and my ex-husband is Canadian. Bev, no problem. I'll mark that down though, because we were getting worried about Bev's attendance. Um, Tin Man's here as well. Wasn't so worried about Tin Man being late. That's pretty standard. Uh, Presto showing up out of the blue, also standard. But Bev, late, we worry. We do worry about Miss Beverly. Just joking, Bev, love you. Uh, seriously, this is And Sashina's here too. Good. I did see that. Oh, Dana, I know. But you know what? I want to have a very busy 2024. So I think I want to come back down to Texas. I have a few things I'd like to do. So let's make that happen anyways. Um, this is crazy. Also, I swear to God, if I would not torture myself by having to watch this again, I would have started a POA counter and begun to just hit the. Honestly, I need one of those clickers. I'm gonna put that on my Amazon list. It's another great reminder. I have updated my Amazon wish list and it's linked on my link tree. So if you want to get something from my Amazon list and send it to me, you can do that. I'm gonna add one of those counters. You know the ones that they use at like events? You hold it in your hand. I used to have them when I worked with the cruise ships. And you click it. A clicker. We called them clickers. Anyways, I think I should get one of those for counting things like this. Like POA counter or something like that. So I'm gonna add that one to my Amazon list. But in the meantime, I also added my notebooks that I really want as well, that I can't remember where I bought. I saw them on Amazon, but I wanted one like yesterday.
The need for me to do that. And if I came, I would pay my own way. I would not take money from anybody else for that. David has several friends in Houston that were willing to help him do whatever needed to be done. I didn't need to come.
Do you remember the conversation I had with you on the phone where I said, I need help because you said you weren't doing things fast enough? I said, I need help. Will you please come down? Do you remember that conversation?
You don't need my
Hearsay, assumes facts that are not in evidence, argumentative.
Sustained, overruled. Next question.
Are you aware that his quote friends were not helping with any of this process as well?
Objection, assumes facts that are not in evidence, relevant.
Overruled. Next question.
Melanie, do you agree that I need your help now?
not to
Objection, calls for speculation. I'm not even sure what she's asking, to be honest with you.
Overruled.
Melanie, do you
Hold on.
agree
I
that
overruled the objection so she can answer the last question. Are you aware that she needs your help now? That was the question.
to fulfill your duties as the executrix, you need my help.
Is that your question?
Are you aware that I needed your help with David specifically so I could meet my duties?
No, because whether David lived in the house or not had nothing to do with you turning in the documentation required by law by the executrix.
Do you agree that I need your help right now to move David forward?
I think we can all agree that she needs help. Miss Donna Orlando Chiquita, thank you so much for the gifted membership. Officer Porkchop, welcome. Thank you for being here. Thank you guys for subscribers. We've jumped. We're heading on up to 1,000. And a reminder, we will have a members only after this. I think you got beautiful weather now in Florida, Donna? Okay. Because Miss Carrie's got a foot of snow or something crazy like that. Vicky's got snow coming. There's snow places. I was very worried. What's for dinner is a good question. I will not eat until I'm done my lives, but I'm thinking I want hummus and pita. That's what I feel like eating. Oh, that's the cat scaring me. Hi, Nickadoodle. Yeah, but tell me what you guys have had for dinner. If you didn't like what you had for dinner, tell me what you wish you had for dinner. Um, I if you do have snow, fresh snow, you can make vanilla ice cream with fresh snow very easily. Have you guys ever done that before? That is something that I've heard about people doing in northern Canada or other parts of Canada that are more cold. You basically take fluffy fresh snow and you mix it with sweetened condensed milk from a can, like the carnation milk, and maybe a drop or two of vanilla extract into the snow, and then you mix it all up, and it's basically like vanilla ice cream. That is what people that winter camp will tell you. Now, I will tell you that if you're winter camping, fucking just bring some ice cream, right? Because it's snowy outside, you can just leave it outside. You don't have to worry about it. The reason you can't camp with ice cream is because there's no refrigeration and freezers. But if you're doing it in the winter, that seems to me like the only good reason or the only good thing about that is that you can then bring items that you need to keep frozen. Right? That seems obvious to me.
As is POA, yes.
As executive responsibilities go, then how would you do it differently with David and his conditions?
Objection, relevance, calls for speculation, calls for legal conclusion.
Okay, so as to relevance, it's sustained, which relieves the necessity to rule on the final two. Next question. You're on mute.
Hold on 1 second. Okay, outside of me submitting my photos and documents for evidence, I have no other questions at this time.
Okay. Ms. Bryant, do you have any redirects?
Briefly, Your Honor. Melanie, has David ever filed for disability, or has he been adjudicated to be disabled at any point in time that you know of?
Are you asking me or Melody?
You.
Melanie, excuse me.
Okay.
You, mistake. And then
Yes,
counsel, you have 10 minutes for redirect.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Go ahead, mistake.
No, he has not filed for disability or anything like that yet.
Are you aware whether David has any bank accounts in his name?
He has one bank account in his name.
Is that bank account joint or solely his?
Ma'am, you're not allowed to ask questions right now.
I'm so sorry, Your Honor.
Melanie, are you aware of how the notice to vacate was delivered to David in November by Ms. Patton?
Yes.
Did she provide it to you as the POA for David?
No.
Did she provide it to David directly?
Yes.
Melanie, to your knowledge, is Fidelity an asset of the estate?
It is, but it's not part of the will. It's outside the will, and so it doesn't have to wait for probate.
Okay. Your Honor, that's all the questions I have for Ms. Dake.
All right, so you can recross based on that last round because she did not use very long. You have 3 minutes.
One second, please. Melanie, are you and David legally divorced?
Yes.
Objection.
Objection, Your Honor. I don't know if you heard Corey.
I didn't hear what the objection was.
I was just going to object on relevance, but I'll withdraw the objection. She answered the question. That's fine.
And what was the date of your divorce?
September 25th, 2019.
Are you supposed to know that date? I don't know the date of my divorce. Ugh. I'm being serious now. Are you actually supposed to know that date? Because I don't. I remember our date of separation, like when we separated, but I absolutely have no clue. I'm not even I'm not even positive on the year as to when we got divorced. Shit, that's important. Okay. I'm gonna make a note of that. Lucky for me, I just text message my ex-husband these things, and he usually knows. He'll like send me the stuff or whatever. I'm sure. When it came to court, y'all know I went by myself because I couldn't afford a lawyer, and he had a lawyer. But it worked out for me in the end. So, um, but legit though, I do not recall if it was 2022, 2023. Goville girl, Goville, Govile girl. Tell us how to say your name, girl. Tell us what you want us to call you. Ah, thank you, Beverly. I know we are over 800. I'm so excited about it. Um, Now I'm perplexed about this divorce if I have to know that. Shit. Also, we are going to watch a little bit more of the next part of this hearing before we cut for our members only in a little bit. Yeah.
Do you realize that Betty changed the will before that date?
Objection. Objection. Relevance.
What is the relevance?
The relevance is that she made changes to the will while Melanie was still married to David, and therefore she trusted me as her executrix to do what needed to be done and not Melanie or David or Tim.
Okay, so that the objection is sustained. If it helps me, I think that's probably evident from the will itself that's in probate.
I have no further questions other than to have another date scheduled.
All right, Ms. Bryant, do you have any questions
For mistake,
for redirect?
Mistake, is it your understanding that as the beneficiary of this estate, that it's your job or your responsibility to help Ms. Patton perform her duties as the executor?
No, not at all.
We rest, Your Honor. We don't have any further questions for her.
Ms.
I should
Patton,
say we don't have any further questions for Mistake. We're not resting just yet. Excuse me.
Ms. Patton, do you have any?
Your Honor, roll call Melody Patton.
All right, Ms. Patton, I need you to raise your right hand.
Right hands. Did she just say right hands? Lisa, I hope not. We just had to start the new part of this. We're not watching all of it. Like I said, there's this part plus one more, and this is an hour and 20. We're not going to finish that one um, today because we also have members only in a little bit, but we will get into it a little bit here. Yeah, I'm just noticing, yeah, the judge is holding up her left hand. Good freaking point, Christy. Um, and I swear to God, she just said, hold up your rights, like your hands. That's why I think she said.
You're on a roll call, Melody Patton.
All right, Ms. Patton, I need you to raise your right hands. I need you off mute. You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Okay. And so this is the point where I know there's been some help with technical difficulties and questions and all that stuff, and that's fine. But what nobody can do is instruct you how to answer questions as a witness. So I'm going to instruct you while you.
Oh my gosh, Billy, thank you so much. Guess what? That'll buy me at least 2 extra large double doubles. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. It'll pop up over here shortly. I am addicted. I apologize. Like, I am addicted to Tim Hortons coffee. It's just I tried Dunkin' Donuts coffee when I was in Florida. I tried even Hi, Ika. Even McDonald's coffee in Florida isn't as good as it is in Canada. I don't get that. Um, but Tim Hortons, Judge DeSanto drinks Tim Hortons coffee all the time as well, if you notice. Back when she used to stream.
You were under examination as a witness, that you not place yourself on mute, and that you ask anyone who's in the room with you to leave, so that you are not receiving any coaching from the sidelines as to how to answer questions.
Yes, Your Honor. I'm alone.
Okay, go ahead, Ms. Bryant.
Ms. Patton, where do you live currently?
28411 Dobbin Huff Smith Road, Magnolia, Texas 77354.
And who do you understand owns that property?
Betty Patton.
Do you pay rent to the estate to live there?
Yes.
Where do you deposit that rent?
I pay it directly to the mortgage company.
Have you ever opened an estate account for the estate?
Yes.
Where is it?
At Chase Bank.
Okay, when did you open it?
I'd have to look at my records. It was a couple months ago.
Approximately how much money is in that account?
$0. As I've said, there's no estate funding right now because I can't get the house sold, and the beneficiaries are the only other estate funds.
When you say estate funds, what are you referring to?
I'm referring to any money that the estate has, which would be house sale proceeds or assets, and all the assets are divided among beneficiaries. And so that means that without a house sale, the only estate funding available is beneficiary money.
Are you operating a business out of the Dobbin Huff Smith property?
Yes.
What's that business?
It is a dog breeding business, and dog breeding business.
Who are the owners of the dog breeding business?
Linda Cotis.
Are you an owner in that business?
No.
Does the business have a lease with the estate to operate a business on that property?
Yes.
How much rent does the business pay to operate on that to have a lease on that property to operate?
The business was, we settled with Betty that the business would pay 50% of the mortgage note every month, but that the payments would not start until after a year of tenancy. But despite that, the business has been paying since October or November. We've been paying the whole time, and the full amount, not 50%. So we've actually paid way more than what we were required to.
Okay, so is it your testimony that the business has a lease with the estate?
The business has a lease with Betty Patton at this property.
And that was entered into before she died.
Correct. As of
Have you
October.
ever provided a copy of that lease to any of the beneficiaries under the will?
No, but I can.
Have you ever prepared an inventory of Betty's estate?
No.
Have you provided any type of notice to the beneficiaries that in your capacity as the independent executor?
Notice of what?
Any notice whatsoever, a notice notifying them that Betty had died.
Yes.
What date did you provide that notice?
March 13th. The day she died, March 13th, 2023.
Okay. When were you appointed as the executor of the estate?
Appointed on July 15th, I think. I'd have to look at my record. Do you need me to look that up?
If I represented to you that you were appointed on June 15th, would that sound correct to you? Would you agree with that?
Oh, yes. Yeah. Actually, yes, it was her birthday.
Okay, so since the time that you were appointed on June 15th, what actions have you taken to administer this estate?
I have communicated with Fidelity regarding the beneficiary distributions. I've communicated with all of the beneficiaries, and I have sent them all forms, with the exception of David, because of this situation here. They have all gotten their account set up to my knowledge, but I don't know that for sure, so I shouldn't have said that. But I have also made sure that there is an appraiser that can come to the house to Brace Heather specifically. They just need some more information from me, and that's why I needed to get David moving along. I have also kept up all of the payments and utilities for the Dobbin property that we've discussed. I have supported David and Tim as well, which is not specifically in the will, but they had no jobs or money of their own, so that was kind of a responsibility I had to undertake. So I've made sure they didn't end up under a bridge. I have delegated Tim to clean up the Brace Heather house to get it ready for selling. That is the reason why he is there now, is not to live there. And I am giving him a very strict and close deadline to finish these things. I've also gone over there myself and have helped out. I have been in contact with the local law enforcement and neighbors to make sure that the house.
Bye, Chris. Have a good shift at work. Thank you again, as always, for all your support. Also, Mike, you are making me laugh with your fucking puns here. I wonder if she earned everyone's trust.
House is kept safe and secure. I have I think that's it, because the will was pretty vague. There wasn't much in there.
Okay, I'm going to object the non-responsive portions of that answer. Ms. Patton, have you published a notice to creditors?
No. What do you mean by notice? I guess, what do you mean by notice?
Have you provided a written notice or published a notice as required under the Texas State's Code to creditors of Betty's estate?
No, but I've talked with them over the phone.
Okay. Have you provided notice per the Texas State's Code to each beneficiary of the probate of Betty's will?
Other than text message?
Any notice?
Then yes, they received notice via text message.
Have you filed anything in the probate court notifying the probate court or the beneficiaries or certifying that you have provided that notice?
What is the question?
told the probate court that you have provided that notice to the beneficiary?
I have not told the probate court that I provided that notice.
Okay. But it's your contention that you have provided that notice, that you did it via text message?
Yes, and in David's case, it was verbal, multiple times verbally. Yes, is the answer.
Have you notified the secured creditors of Betty's estate?
I've notified some. Do you want me to list who I've notified?
Sure.
I've notified all of the things regarding her pension or medical or I forgot what it's called. Obviously, Fidelity and her bank, Bank of America, American Express. I think I've missed a couple. I know I've missed a couple, but I've notified many of them. Social Security. Yeah, was there another question?
No. Have you prepared an inventory of the estate?
No.
Why not?
Because I could not get into the house to operate with it and do that properly because of David and the living condition there. They are hoarders, not just of stuff, but of filth. And I could not move around the house. And that's what I want to submit evidence of. I could not actually take inventory properly because of all of the stuff and the filth that was there.
I'm going to object to the non-responsive part of that, of her answer.
Overruled.
Did the estate ever pay for the utilities at the Brace Heather house?
Post-death?
That would be the estate, yes.
Yeah, post-death, pre-death, there's no estate, girl. Again.
No. There was no money. There was no money to do so. It was all locked up in Fidelity. Under the beneficiary specifically, the only money that the estate had at the time of her death was beneficiary money and unsold property.
Which includes the Dobbin Hudspeth property, correct?
That's correct.
How much is that property worth?
At this time, it's worth $2 million, but it will be worth more. And I have more information on that if you want me to share.
How much is the Brace Heather property worth?
400 or well, 300,000 if I can't get it repaired properly.
Are there any efforts to sell the Hudspeth property?
Yes, but not soon. Because if you'd like more information, we're in a commercial developing area where everything around us is developing commercially, meaning the longer that we wait to sell, the more we will get for it. And so we have been talking, we've been discussing selling it, but I don't have a date. I don't have something soon like I do with Brace Heather. And
so why would you choose to sell the Brace? Strike that. As the executor of the estate, why would you sell the Brace Heather property and not sell the Hudspeth property?
Well, Brace Heather was specifically told in the will, the will does not specify the Dobbin property for one thing. The will states the Brace Heather property, and it states very specifically that it be sold upon death. And she made it very clear to me while she was living here in her last months of life that she wanted it sold immediately and for David and Tim not to stay there. So that has been my first priority and been one of the hardest ones. And also we can't sell the Dobbin property under the lease agreement the way it's written. And so the business would have to, I guess it would have to make an exception to the contract. I'm not sure, but because that's not my area. So I don't want to speak out of turn. But I'm answering your question, is that Brace Heather is the easiest thing to sell first. And that would release funds to David and Tim, which would make them able to live somewhere and not be in the situation that they're in now. And also it would pay off the debts as necessary.
Okay. Who are the beneficiaries of the will as you understand it, as the executor?
David and Tim are beneficiaries of the house at Brace Heather, which is the only asset listed in the will.
Okay. Your Honor, can I share my screen? I'd like to show her a copy of the will to kind of go through some of what she's testifying to.
Yes, ma'am.
Here, hopefully I can do this correctly. Okay, can you see that?
Yes, I can.
All right. Okay, so do you understand this? Do you recognize this document?
Yes.
And what is it?
It's the will of Betty Patton.
Okay, and this is the will that you contend is her latest will, the one that has been admitted to probate. Is that right?
Yes, and I did forget to list Melanie's. When you just asked me who was in the will, I forgot to mention her.
Okay. Okay. So, let's see here.
But as I've said, there is no open account with First Street Financial.
The humming is on her end, and I don't know if it's like he's put a phone so he can hear what's going on. But it seems like it's coming from her. But it started when they asked him to walk away. Honestly, to me, it sounds like you got a baby monitor right beside where she's at. That's what I would do.
So I can't give her that. However, I was planning on giving her any house proceeds that I could, or, I was planning on giving her whatever I could anyway, because I love her.
Okay, can you show me in this will where the Brace Heather property is specifically identified? And I can go page by page here. I'm not quite sure.
Well, I think I'll be looking with you. Definitely page 2 or 3.
Okay, here's page 2.
Keep going. Okay, I'm wrong. Keep going. Keep going. That's the end?
That's the end.
Well, then we missed it.
Okay. Let me go back. This is page 3. Do you see it on page 3?
No.
Okay, page 2. Do you see it on page 2?
I see that it says my estate. Okay, go back up, go to page 1 then. Okay, so it's just, so, I mean, it's number 2 then, right there where it says, it doesn't mention Brace Heather by name, but it's talking about the real property that she has possession of at that time, which at that time was only Brace Heather.
You would agree that and you agreed with me earlier, right, that the Dobbin Hupsmith property that you live in today is owned by Betty Patton. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. So at the date Betty died, she owned both the Brace Heather property and the Dobbin Hupsmith property. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. I want you to look right here for me in this first sentence. If you can you see that what I have highlighted on my screen?
Yes.
Okay, can you read to me right here who Betty is identifying as her children?
My children shall refer to David Boyd Patton and Paul Timothy Patton. Any reference here in my child or similar
That's fine. That's fine. Thank you. Okay. Here on, we're going to go to paragraph 4, subparagraph B. Can you please read to me that highlighted sentence that I have there.
It is my will and desire that all of the rest and residue of my estate of every description, real, personal, or mixed, which I may own or in which I may have an interest at the time of my death, shall pass and vest absolutely and in fee simple in my children equally.
Okay, and what do you understand that sentence to mean?
Well, it means that at the time of her death, anything that she possesses of her estate will be divided equally between David and Tim.
And you would agree that in her estate at the time that she died, she owns the Grace Heather house and the Huffsmith house. Is that correct?
Yes.
So you would agree that under Betty's will, the only two people who will have an interest or who have an interest in any of her stuff, including those two properties, is David and Tim. Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. But it's your testimony that you need to sell the Grace Heather house now, which David was living in. Strike that. Why is it again that you need to sell the Grace Heather property now?
Because one, it's the quickest way to get funds for the estate, which was very necessary to continue supporting David and Tim. I could not get David's fidelity money because he wouldn't talk to them, he wouldn't talk to me, and I didn't get the POA from Melanie. So therefore, he had no money of his own. And the only money I had for him was resting in that house to be sold. And three, I needed to pay debts off. And so really that was the most easily liquidated asset available. And before Betty died, she verbally, because she lived with me her last 3 months of life, she told me very specifically to sell Grace Heather quickly and not to let the sons live there, and especially not together. So I have done that, or I've attempted to do that.
Your Honor, I think I jumped the gun here. At this time, I'd like to admit the will into evidence as Exhibit A.
Objections? There being no objections, A is admitted.
Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen here. I guess I just hit pause. Okay. So you're understanding, you agree with me that under the will, all of Betty's property is to go to David and to Tim. Is that correct?
Yes,
And that would include the Grace Heather property and the Dobbin Huffsmith property, which you live at currently. Yes.
That is my understanding of the will. However, that is not what she verbally told me, which I guess doesn't matter now. She wanted it to be split among the 6, actually.
I'm going to object to what you're saying. Okay. Who is living at the Grace Heather property now?
My father is staying there. He is not living there. He just moved in recently to get the house cleaned up, and he doesn't have enough funding to stay at a hotel or get a lease somewhere. So I told him he has X amount of time to stay there and get it ready to be sold, and then that's it.
Okay, so he's living there, yes?
Yes, but he is not. I mean, yes, he's living there right now, but I want it to be very clear that he is not to be staying there for anything other than getting it sold, ready to be sold.
And who, excuse me, I'm sorry, who is your father?
Paul Timothy Patton.
Okay. When did Tim move into the house?
I have to look. Maybe a couple weeks ago. Do you need me to see that right now?
Well, let me ask you this. I told you that he's been living there since November 10th when David was removed from the property. Would that sound correct to you?
No, ma'am. He wasn't
Okay,
living
so
there yet.
do you think it was before Thanksgiving that Tim moved in the house?
It was before Thanksgiving, but it was not November 10th because there was about a week and a half-ish where no one was living there at all. And I was just going back and forth to check on the house.
Okay, and who's paying the utilities at the Braes Heather property currently?
Currently, the next payment will be done by Paul Timothy Patton.
Okay.
Melanie was paying it, and she's done now because she paid up through the portion that David was living there. So the next portion, Tim will take over. But
And
again,
is Tim paying rent to the estate to live there?
no.
No. Okay. Was David paying rent to the estate to live there?
No.
So would you agree that you sent a notice to vacate to David in order to allow Tim, your father, to move into that property?
No. It was
okay,
never.
So why did you send the notice to vacate to David?
Because he refused to leave, and he refused multiple times. And I could not get the house ready to be sold with him living there, as per the documents and photos I'd like to send, because it's impossible. The living condition he left it in, I couldn't do anything with him there. And my father living there was not even in the picture. I asked him for help. Again, if Melanie had helped me, I wouldn't have had to ask my dad. But she didn't, so I had to ask him. And he can't afford to live somewhere else right now. So that's what I'm saying. I need to get that house sold. I needed help. Melanie refused to help me, even though I offered to pay her way and keep and accommodate her stay here. And so I had to ask my dad.
When David was removed from the property, did you change the locks on that property?
Yes.
Yes. And but why did you do that? No, why did you change the locks on the property?
I changed the locks on the property because I did not want him to return to the property and stay there like a homeless person. But I changed the locks on Friday, which on Monday the 6th, I believe it was the date of the letter. And they had 3-day notice officially, but I actually gave them until Friday before I changed the locks. And so they had all week. And sorry, what's the next question?
Did David ever tell you that he was vacating the property?
No, he didn't tell me anything at all. Whenever I asked him repeatedly, he told me he really just didn't say anything. He just kept sitting in his chair staring at the TV. And same thing with his caregiver / friend. They made no move whatsoever to pack or to get ready or anything. And it took me having to threaten him with the cops for him to do anything. And even then he barely moved out of his chair. And I gave them months of notice, and then weeks, and then days, and then I showed up and they still wouldn't make a move to pack. So I gave them an eviction notice, which turned out to be for 3 or 4 days. And he got taken to jail because he had a warrant, which is not my fault. And his friend had the whole week to get David's stuff out of there and truck, and he didn't. So I don't really know why the eviction is even a problem, because they had all the opportunity that they needed to get whatever they needed out of there. And also David told me that Sean had a brother who was going to house David. So I think I said too much. What's your question?
Oh, that's actually, so where do you understand that David's living now that he was kicked out of his house by you in November?
My understanding is that he's staying in a hotel, but prior to my eviction.
I think you answered my question. I appreciate it. Thank you. So just so I understand your testimony correctly, well, strike that. Let me ask this. How long had David been living in that house at the point in time that you kicked him out?
Since 2019, I think, whenever he left Melanie.
So approximately 4 years, right? That was his house. That's how you understood. That's be David's house, okay? So I understand, tell me if I'm wrong, that you kicked David out of his house, which and then moved your father in approximately a week after that. Is that right?
That is not. I see how that looks that way to you, but that's not what happened. I never planned on having my dad living there at the time that I kicked David out. I did not kick him out for the only reason other than he would not leave voluntarily, nor would he make any move to get ready to leave. And that was the only way I could get him out of there. And I didn't even mean to. He had a warrant. So I mean, I was told that he had a place to stay, but yet he wouldn't move out. His brother promised my dad and myself he has a place to go. But then whenever he actually had to leave, he's not there. So I don't know why he's not there.
Okay. Have you contacted a realtor to put the Brace Heather property up for sale?
I'm doing it through Open Door.
Okay, so you started that process?
Yes.
What about the Dobbin Husband property?
What's the question?
Have you contacted a realtor? Have you got an appraisal done on that property? Have you taken any steps to selling that property?
Yes and no. I have a realtor, but I've not taken steps to sell it yet, based on the fact that the commercial land around us is developing and the offers are going to get better if we wait a little longer.
And in the meantime, you intend to occupy that property as your primary residence. Is that correct?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that the estate would have money if you sold the Dobbin Husband property?
Yes.
Okay. Similar to if you sold the Brace Heather property, the estate would have money, right?
Yes. But there is a lease contract in place for the Dobbin, which makes it complicated. And I don't have money to afford a lawyer right now, which the whole reason, like I don't have a lawyer and I couldn't pay them to make sure I got my checklist of things done and all that too, by the way. So I have very limited funding right now. And the Dobbin property has a lot of repairs that are needed before I can even sell it, because it's 25 years old. So it's not as quick and easy as you might think. Brace Heather is much easier.
So you're basing your opinion of whether that the Brace Heather property is easier to sell based on your just subjective understanding of the condition of both of these properties. Is that right?
That and the fact that yes.
You have not contacted as the executor, you have not reached out to a realtor to say, I have got 2 properties in this estate. I'd like to see the viability of selling one or both of them.
I do have a realtor. No, I do have a realtor. And she has not gone to look at Brace Heather yet, but she definitely can if that's what I'm being ordered to do. But
has she looked at the Dobbin Husband property with the idea of seeing how marketable it could be, how much you would obtain in a sale, or making any effort toward listing that property?
Yes. But
yes, she has.
Yes, but I cannot comment at this time on her opinion.
So where is it that you are getting your opinion? What are you basing your opinion that property is in a commercial development or that would be better suited by waiting to sell it? What forms the basis for that opinion?
Financial advisors, which include my husband. He is one, and he has a financial advisor, and he has a financial advisor. So I'm going off of 3 people right now, as well as an investor in our area, who is very interested in not just our section here, but surrounding areas.
And your husband lives at that property with you, correct?
Yes.
Does your husband operate that dog breeding business with you?
Yes.
Is he an owner in that business?
He's the president, but he's not an owner.
He's the president, okay. So would you agree with me that if that property was sold, that your business would have to find another place to operate, right?
Yes.
So it's directly beneficial to you and to your husband and to your business to be able to stay at that property, right?
Yes, but no.
You would agree with me that if that property was sold, you would have to find another place to live. Is that correct?
I would agree with you, yes, but that would also mean that the beneficiaries would have more funding and therefore I could pay off my estate responsibilities and be done with all of this. So frankly, I don't really care if we have to leave. I just want it to be settled properly.
Okay. And you would agree that the Brace Heather property also needs repairs, is that correct?
It does not need repairs in order to be sold. That's only like a nice thing. Like if I want to sell it for more money, which I would, but I don't have the money to put into the repairs. The Dobbin property, I don't think I can sell it very well without repairing it some heat things like the water irrigation system, for instance.
Okay, but I believe you testified earlier that the reason why you needed David out of the house is because you needed to get to the house to clean it up so that you could sell it. Is that right?
Yeah, that's
So now
right.
you're testifying that the house is good as it is right now, it could be sold, yeah?
You don't understand. I'm sorry to be rude. I'm talking about cleaning it up from mess and filth and trash and stuff. Okay, the house is perfectly functioning. The repairs are not necessary to get it sold. It can be sold the way it is. Or repairs or renovations, either or both. It's not necessary to get it sold, but it is necessary to get the house cleaned so there's not rats and mold and filth and stuff everywhere. You know what I mean?
Could you not have taken care of the filth and the rats and every, just the general mold while David was living there?
David does not like having people around. I felt like he was uncomfortable with me there doing that kind of stuff, but maybe I'm wrong.
Did David ever tell you that?
Yes, not about me specifically, but he would tell me about his severe anxiety issues. And I mean, I went over there many times, but I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Okay. Who, as you understand it, are the two beneficiaries of Betty's estate?
David and Tim.
David and Tim. Okay. And as executor, what is your responsibility to David and Tim?
To make sure that they have the money saved up for them, and to make sure that they are not under a bridge. And that's it. And by the way, Tim also is a resident here at the Dobbin property, and David was offered residency here and refused.
But you also agree that if you sold the Dobbin Husband's property and the Brace Heather property today, the estate would have money, right?
Yes.
And if the estate had money, that would go 50% to David and 50% to Tim, right?
Yes.
So as you stand here today as the executor of the estate, why not sell both the properties?
I'm working on it.
Yeah. But you've actually made no steps to sell the Dobbin Husband's property at all.
I've talked, like I said, I've talked to the realtor, we've talked to investors, and we have been told by the financial advisors and the investors that it's better to wait a little longer for the developing area around us to be completed so that our value of the property can be much higher and therefore have much more to give to the beneficiaries and to pay off the debts. That's what I've been advised.
By who?
By the financial advisors and by the investors and the person too.
Okay, can you tell me the name of the financial advisors and the investors that you have spoken to?
Jim Lyon is financial advisor. My husband, Matt Cotis. Rocky Del Papa is an investor. And there was one more.
I'm sorry, did she just say Big Papa was the investor? Seriously, what is she saying? We're going to just go over these investors' names, and then, ladies and gentlemen, we are done for this evening for this part. We are going to be doing our members only after this. I think we will start at like 4:50. I'll post it shortly. Let's just go back and hear what she said here. This case is nuts. I'm actually going to have to make some notes on this case. And then we'll have to, as we go through the rest of it, we have another 2 hours worth of it. Papa Roach, right? 2 hours plus of it. So we will continue that tomorrow. Let's just hear what she said there. Then, if you're not a member already, what are you doing? We're having a members only soon. It's gonna be so fun.
And the investors that you have spoken to.
Jim Lyon is financial advisor. My husband, Matt Cotis. Rocky Del Papa is an investor. And there was one more. Leslie Sullivan is the real estate agent.
Okay. So if I talk to Jim and Leslie, they would tell me tell me everything that you're telling me right now. That you've talked to them about selling the property and they advise you to not sell it.
Yes, but I'm not sure that Jim would remember me specifically because it's been a long time since, or maybe a few months since we talked to him initially. And
Oh, she's such a little liar, allegedly. Oh, I don't like that. Yes, but. Oh, girlfriend, believe me, financial advisors remember you, especially if you bring them actual money. Um, this is such a nasty case. I don't like it. I don't like it. I told you guys before, I've worked at the bank for a long time. We had to deal with probate things that came into the bank. People get fucking nasty around money. I will tell you that. It's not nice, you know? Anyways, you guys listen. We are going to be doing something fun with members only. It's me moving my phone around. We're going to be doing something fun with members only. We are going to be beginning that in approximately 25 minutes or so. So keep an eye on the channel. You'll see it posted. As a reminder, Streamlabs does not work during members only. So no gambling. Just remember. And if you want to see the rest of this case, tune in tomorrow evening where we will continue watching and probably finish this clusterfuck of a case that we've been listening to. Thank you so much to everybody today. You've been very generous and I appreciate each and every one of you. And don't forget, remember, I love you, I'm proud of you, and I'll see you soon for members only. Bye. God damn it. Where's the button? Where's the button? I said, bye, loves.